No, yeah, it came that way. I just bought it.
Sweet.
All right, let's go.
Donnie Walker, he'll teach you.
Thank you very much, man.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Chrome.
Chrome?
Chrome, yeah. Hey guys, we just came out to Walker's Saw Shop here in Nanaimo. So in the backcountry the other day, those two huge trees fell down on the trail, and a couple of guys came up with a gas chainsaw and bucked those things up like no tomorrow. So we have a new addition to the van here. Yeah, it's a smarter move than the battery powered one.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, unless you got a generator to charge your battery all the time.
Right? No kidding. No kidding. All right,
No,
man.
what you've purchased here is a MS400C, new version of STIHL. 67cc is probably the best in its class for saws, so well worth the money. I modify some of these for loggers and tree worker guys. It has a magnesium piston, which is the first of its kind. Very well developed. So yeah, you want to learn how to start it safely?
Yes, please.
Alrighty. So there's two different ways to start a saw. You can go on the ground with the foot method and pull up, or you put it between your... I'm going to show you the ground method. You hold the throttle on, push that lever down for the choke, let go of the throttle, and it'll stay in its position.
Okay.
Push the decompression release in, which makes it easier to start. Put it on the ground, have your chain brake on, just in case there's something around or someone walks by and it could get cut. So safety first, right?
Okay.
But don't be running it too much with the chain brake on. So once I have it fired here, it's gonna fire and I'm gonna lift it up, then I'm gonna take the choke off, okay?
Okay.
Okay, it fired, okay? Now I'm gonna move the choke up one notch. Let it run on choke and warm up a little bit. Then take the chain brake off, okay? Just put the button in, pull it.
Okay. So after start the first time, yeah.
They're pretty decent. This lever is a little bit different than the older model, so you just got to get used to it.
Okay.
Yeah, great model. I do sell a lot of these. They're great units.
That's awesome, man. Now we don't got to charge batteries when we're out on the trail all the time.
I'll check out your YouTube stuff.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Sweet, yeah, give me the name of your channel.
Donnie Walker's Chainsaws.
Donnie Walker's Chainsaws. So do you own the shop?
Oh, my brother does. It's a family business.
That's wicked.
Yeah, my dad taught me. My grandpa was a saw mechanic. My dad was. Now I am.
That's
But
awesome.
my kid's not. She's a dentist in dentistry.
That's cool. You got a YouTube channel, though. I love that stuff, man.
Hey, bud. Have a good day.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Now we got to find a place somewhere in the rooftop carrier of the van to put the new chainsaw. Hey, Crazy. Hey. Hi, buddy. Can you move over? Let's go play with the new chainsaw. Definitely around the shop here, we have a lot of fallen wood, so we have a little forest around the shop. Holy cow. Oh man. There is no way my electric chainsaw could have ripped those up that fast. Holy cow. Am I ever stoked on that purchase. Let's go, baby. My goodness. So it's definitely a lot smaller. Let's go. Let's go see. Definitely a lot slower. And that wood was pretty much dead. If you're trying to chop anything like greener, this thing is a slug. So the main difference right away from using the electric one versus using this one is this one smells manly. This one doesn't smell like, and I guess it does smell like that bar oil stuff though. But yeah, guys, so obviously I bought myself a new chainsaw because I found that this one I did not trust. When I'm out there in the backcountry in my van and a huge tree falls across the trail after you've been out there, you have no choice but to find a way to get that tree off that backcountry road, or you're not getting out of that situation. You're stuck until hopefully one of the locals comes up. And I learned that recently, that after a heavy windstorm, usually some of the locals will drive up the backcountry roads looking for fallen logs to gather firewood up and to keep the trail nice and clear. But if you're in a remote location, waiting for that somebody just may never happen. So having a chainsaw of any kind, or even a handsaw of any kind in the backcountry, is mandatory when you're in your van. I've seen some really great hand ones that actually fold out and you can handsaw it. Even if you have to be there for 2 or 3 hours to hand saw something off the road, it's better than being stuck with nothing at all. So I kept this one in my van, and there's a problem with this one is, well, for one, it's got a pretty small bar on the end of it here, so you're limited on the diameter of wood that you can actually cut. At that point, you just start whittling away at those bigger chunks until you get it down into something a little bit more manageable for a smaller one like this. The electric ones definitely, move over big boy. The electric ones definitely have an advantage. They're quiet, they're not loud, and if you're looking at staying quiet out there without alarming anybody that you're camped out across the way, this is definitely the way to go. These are not cheap. The most expensive part about buying one of these is the batteries. And you might think, hey Chrome, this is a pretty nice little size factor. Yeah, it's not very big. It seems like a great thing to keep in your van. Yeah, you got this, but that's not it. Then you've got this ginormous, there's your setup. And you have to have this, that's the fast charger. You don't want a slow charger, because when these go dead, you're gonna need a way to charge them super fast. I bought an extra set of batteries, so if these ones died out there, you could swap them over while these ones charged up, hoping to get that log off the trail. But that's cumbersome. And even if you were to stack it like in there to make some best use of your space, that's big. This is cumbersome on the backside. It's a little bit taller, but really, that's no different. If you want to stack these together, you're dealing with the same kind of a scenario. But a huge downfall I found with buying this one is it didn't have the handle here. And I bought this because it didn't have the handle. My rationalization was, without the handle, it's smaller, more compact. And I'm like, it's got a handle here and here. What more do you need? I can push it this way. It doesn't make a difference. You need that leverage to pull or push. Without that leverage, you're done. That's why all professional chainsaws have the handle back here, so you have leverage to push or pull. Instead of having something here, which you'd have no control over this big chainsaw if it wasn't for this back handle. And then brings us to this big one. I didn't want to mess around when it comes to a piece of safety gear in my vehicle. So this I would consider a piece of recovery gear to help get me out of nasty situations. When you spend a lot of time in the backcountry, there will be more than one occasion that you'll be out there and you'll want to go farther, and you'll run into some branches that have been fallen over on the side of the trail that are just too big to do by hand. That's where having a little chainsaw comes in, so you can kind of knock those branches back so you can go out a little bit deeper. But sometimes when you're out there, you will come across a log across the road that nobody has had the chance to take down yet. Meaning that road is over. You got to turn around at that point and come back out. And a lot of times past that fallen log is some epic lakes up there that people haven't accessed in a while, because people don't go up there with chainsaws all the time, so they couldn't clear the road out for others and for yourself. So it allows you to get out there just a little bit farther. But on the safety standpoint, if you don't have a way to clear the logging road yourself, you're gonna be in a world of trouble up there. Especially if you have no way to communicate and radio out. Do not go out there if you don't have a Garmin InReach or something out there so you can communicate with the world, like Starlink internet or something. You need to be safe out there. If you can't call out for help, make sure you take the help with you. So inside of my van, not only now do I have a super capable gas chainsaw. This is incredible. I am super stoked on this purchase. But the front of my van also has a 12,000 pound Warren winch on the front. And I got all sorts of tow straps and cables. So if I need to pull that log off the trail after I buck it up, I can do that. Because sometimes these things, you maybe be able to get 2 big chunks cut out of it. Instead of bucking it up in little slices, you can knock it off into a few big pieces, winch around it, and cable that thing right off the trail. So be prepared when you're going out there. Yeah, you don't have to go to this extreme and buy a giant chainsaw like this one, but you guys know at this point on this channel that I'm a go big or go home kind of guy. Yeah, you get it? So for me to walk into this chainsaw shop, which the guys here at Walker's in Nanaimo were just amazing. I wanted something that was gonna be with me for a long time, something that I will get used to the feeling of it and it'll be like a third hand. You know what I mean? And that's what happens when you have tools with you for years and years to come, is that they just get comfortable to use. You feel safer around it, because the better you feel with the tool in your hand, the safer you're gonna be keeping it under control. So yeah, we are retiring this thing for now. Not only did I pick this up, I thought this was awesome. So of course, when you put a chainsaw in your van, where are you gonna put the extra fuel tank? And I'm like, I was already thinking that. I was already looking at Amazon, trying to find maybe ways to have a gas tank for this thing mounted on the roof rack system of the vehicle, and then I could climb up there, grab it, come down here and fill up the chainsaw. But the guy at the shop's like, you don't gotta do that. This, my friends, I thought was wicked. You can actually already buy the 50-to-1 mix of fuel at any chainsaw shop. And he said anything that says 50-to-1 will work. You can buy these at Canadian Tire. And the best part about this is it'll fit anywhere in my van. The lid is nice and secure on the top of it. I don't have to worry about bringing an extra jerry can or remembering when I'm at the gas station to top up that little extra jerry can. I thought this was just a nice, simple, you know, easy way for van life to have gas. So I grabbed a couple of these, and it's nice that I can grab these from most generic box stores like Canadian Tire, which is wicked. We should be able to find these fairly easy on the road. But these guys hooked me up with everything I needed. So we're gonna line this up as a size factor. Protective cover. We got a chainsaw file kit so I can sharpen the chain when I'm out there in the backcountry. The guy says it's fairly straightforward to use. The instructions and stuff are on the back. I'll obviously watch a pile of YouTube videos and do all this stuff before we hit our summer travels this year. But having a means to keep that chain nice and sharp when we're out there in the backcountry is a good idea. We also got a thing of chain oil here as well. So if you look at it, man, we're actually, you know, comparative to the electric one with the actual charger, we're doing pretty good here. Here's the tools that actually come with the chainsaw itself, because that's everything I'm gonna need to do any service or anything like that, to just keep this in a Ziploc bag. And because I spend a lot of time outside of cities on my travels, we have an extra chain for this thing as well, just in case that one snaps out there on me. I'm that guy. I want to be prepared for everything. So if you can keep a backup of little things like this, trust me, when that thing snaps and you're out there trying to take a log off the forest road, you're going to wish you carried an extra one of those. And in here is everything I'm going to need to do a little tune-up on it. It's got a fuel filter, an air filter, and also a spark plug as well too. That way we can do any maintenance while we're out there on the trail. That's everything you would need to get a fallen tree off the trail, pretty much no matter what the size is. That's not bad comparative to the space that the electric one took up. I'm actually quite impressed. This is going to be stored in my rooftop carrier. I'm probably going to find a way to secure it in there so it latches itself down, so it's not just banging around the trail all the time. And in the ambulance, this thing will have a nice little home, probably in one of the back little corner corridors. So if I'm ever in a poor situation, you go walk around the back, open up the door of the ambo, grab the chainsaw, or maybe the chainsaw is tucked away in here. You just grab the goods, you get outside and you go take that log off the trail. First time in my life ever buying a piece of machinery like this one, and I'm actually really excited about it. And they said I wouldn't be much of a logger if they didn't throw in a free pair of suspenders. And they threw in a hat too, even though I'm not really much of a hat guy. And I probably would never wear the suspenders, but boys, this is awesome. You never know, man. Like I'm just a couple years away from 50. Maybe suspenders are in my future. So in a nutshell, there definitely is a place for something like this in your van life. It's better to have something than to have nothing. Doing a big expensive purchase like this is extreme. But when you're in a situation like I'm in sometimes, where I'm like heavily invested into my lifestyle out there off the grid, to have the right gear that'll get me out of any situation whatsoever and or help others on the trail. If I get up there and there's a fallen tree and they're out there doing it by hand, I can pull out the big chainsaw, get the job done, and we all can keep adventuring down the road. But you don't need to go this big. It took me years. I've had this thing now for two and a half years, maybe 3 years now. I've had this thing in my van. 2 years? I don't remember. And it served its purpose while I had it. But I also didn't use this as often because it takes a long time to cut. So when I'm out camping, I never really chopped up trees on the ground very often because this took a lot of time. With that dead tree we had out there today, sure, ripped it up like no big deal with either. This one took 3 to 4 times longer than this one. This one cut through it like it wasn't even a tree. Like it was paper, just boom, 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 boom. It was super quick. Where this might have taken 3 or 4 times longer, but it still got the job done. I know van lifers that use the Ryobi ones, the electric Ryobi ones, and they do just fine if you're using it for just smaller things. I think these kind of big purchases come into play when you get into scenarios and you see some really big trees across the trail like I did the other day when we were coming out of the backcountry. But thankfully, locals were there to pull those, to chop them up with real chainsaws. I put an 18-inch bar on this chainsaw, and even though they recommended a 20-inch bar, which is the length of the chain blade, I went with 18 because I figured it would fit better in the vehicle. And if I feel like I need longer than an 18, he said I can do up to 24 inches on this one. So I have lots of expansion room. This thing's got tons of power. I think it's a 24 or 26-inch bar I can put on here. I don't need one that big. I'm not a professional logger falling trees. But if I do feel like the 18-inch one just wasn't big enough this year, I can go to a larger one, which was awesome. Where when it comes to the Makita, this little bugger is all you get. These things can't handle any more than what they're sold with. That's the end of it for that one. So doing it this way, you could chop a log off that's probably about that big. So now you're dealing with stuff that's like large tree branch size. You can get out of the bigger situations with this, but it's just going to take a little bit longer and some extra batteries. So keep that in mind while you're out there. If you are going to go the electric route, make sure you have enough batteries for you, because you don't want to sit there and all of a sudden you bought yourself one of these and the charge time was 2 hours or something. You're going to be out there sitting in the middle of the trail. Hopefully some of this stuff will be useful to you guys. I know these are things that I don't really get the chance to talk about very, very often, and doing a comparison video between these two was really, really fun for me because I've never known what it's like to use a gas chainsaw. Whoa, what a difference. Watching those guys on the trail the other day, just like, wah, ripped it right to pieces. And then this little cute thing. This is definitely built for the home person that needs to chop down a little few branches in their backyard. Definitely not for somebody in my scenario that really wants to use it as an emergency tool to save me from being locked in the backcountry, because you never know what happens out there. All it takes is one, and you've watched me in many situations. Many trees have fallen down while I've been out. Many trees have stopped me from going out any farther, and I didn't feel good about chopping that tree up because I didn't trust this little thing because it's so small. So yeah, having the right tools when you're out there for recovery is just a good idea. Hopefully this video wasn't all over the place. I'm no expert on any of this stuff. So literally when I walked into this place today, the guy was like, "What do you need?" I don't know. I literally told him I don't know. And what a bundle of help these guys were. Got me set up and ready to go. Now I feel good about my summer travels this year because I plan on spending 90% of this summer in the dirt, in the mountains, deep in the bush in British Columbia here somewhere. Am I still wearing that hat? Deep in the bush here in British Columbia somewhere. And feel really good that I'm leaving this year a little bit more prepared than I was last year. Anyway, guys, hopefully this was useful to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on another one. That thing rips. You hear that thing? Woo! Then there's this cutie. Oh. Can't hate on it. It does work.